The rain wouldn't stop that night. Inside a small, broken house, 9-year-old Ethan hid in a dark corner, knees to his chest, whispering through tears, "Someone, please help me." His father's anger had taught him one thing: silence was safety. But tonight, the pain was too heavy to keep inside. Miles away, at a quiet animal shelter, an old German shepherd named Rex raised his head. Once a brave police canine, Rex had saved lives, chased criminals, and taken a bullet for his handler. Now he sat alone, forgotten and limping. Yet somehow, his instincts told him, someone out there needed him again. The next morning, social worker Sarah Collins noticed Ethan's bruises at school. His quiet eyes broke her heart. She tried to talk to him, but he barely spoke. Then she had an idea. "Come with me," she said softly. At the shelter, Ethan walked past barking dogs until he saw Rex. The old shepherd didn't bark or move. He just stared with calm, knowing eyes. Slowly, Ethan reached his trembling hand toward the cage. Rex took a single step forward, pressed his nose against the boy's palm, and wagged his tail once. From that moment, two broken souls began to heal each other. Sarah arranged weekly visits. Ethan started opening up, not to people, but to Rex, sitting in the corner of the kennel. He whispered secrets about fear, anger, and nights spent crying. Rex would simply rest his head on the boy's lap, as if saying, "I understand." Both carried scars, one on the outside. But peace never lasts easily. One rainy night, Sarah got a call. The shelter was losing funds, and Rex might be put down due to age and medical costs. Ethan overheard. His small voice trembled. "No, he saved me. I won't let them take him." That night, he ran away, through the storm, back to the shelter. He broke in, found Rex's kennel, and wrapped his arms around the dog. "I won't leave you," he cried. Hours later, Sarah and police arrived, finding the boy soaked, shivering, but holding on. The image of the abused child clinging to an old canine melted every heart. The story spread across town. People donated, shared, and sent letters of love. Within weeks, enough money was raised not only to save Rex but to start a new project, Healing Paws, pairing retired service dogs with abused children. Ethan was the first child in the program. Rex became the symbol of hope. A year later, the park was filled with laughter. Ethan, now stronger and smiling, ran freely with Rex beside him, his limp barely visible. Sarah watched from afar, tears glistening. The boy who once hid from the world now lived again. Ethan hugged Rex close and whispered, "You saved me, old boy." Rex wagged his tail gently, as if replying, as the golden sun set, "This one dog, two." Because sometimes, it comes from a heartbeat that. A year had passed since Ethan met Rex, the retired canine who turned fear into hope. Now, Ethan spoke at schools about courage, helping other kids who had lived through pain. He and Rex were the heart of the new Healing Paws program, pairing rescued dogs with abused children. But behind Ethan's smile, worry quietly grew. Rex was getting old. His steps slowed, his eyes dimmed, yet he still followed Ethan everywhere. Each night, the boy rested beside him, listening to his steady heartbeat, praying it wouldn't fade. One morning, Rex didn't get up. Ethan panicked and called Sarah. The vet said softly, "He's tired, Ethan. Give him love. That's all he needs." Ethan nodded through tears and began, recording their moments together, the walks, the cuddles, the quiet mornings. Those videos spread online, touching hearts everywhere. Millions watched a boy and his old canine teaching love without words. One cold evening, Ethan heard sirens nearby. Smoke rose from an apartment building. A little girl was trapped inside. Ethan froze in fear. Memories of his own dark nights flashed in his mind. Then Rex barked once, strong, commanding, as if saying, "We can do this." At the burning building, firefighters shouted for them to stay back. But Ethan ran through a side door. Inside, smoke choked the air. Rex, limping but determined, led him forward. They found a crying girl under a table. Ethan carried her, following Rex toward the faint light of the exit. As they reached the doorway, a beam crashed down, pinning Rex's hind leg. "Rex!" Ethan screamed, trying to lift him. The dog barked weakly, urging Ethan to go. But help arrived. Firefighters pulled them all out just before the roof collapsed. At the hospital, Rex lay still. Ethan sat beside him, holding his paw. "Don't go, please," he whispered. Days passed. Then, one morning, Rex opened his eyes. Weak, but alive. The story spread everywhere. Old K9 saves child in fire. Headlines called him a hero again. Donations poured in for healing paws, helping more children and dogs find hope. The girl they saved, Lily, brought a hand-drawn picture of Rex. "He's my hero," she said softly, giving Ethan a shy smile. Months later, Rex passed away peacefully in his sleep, head resting on Ethan's lap. The boy cried silently but didn't hide from the pain. He whispered, "You saved me, Rex. I'll keep saving others for you." With Sarah's help, Ethan expanded Healing Paws. The first puppy he trained was named Vela, in honor of Rex's courage. Years later, grown-up Ethan stood on a stage, showing a video of his journey with Rex. On screen, their memories played, the shelter. Ethan's voice trembled as he said, "Heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they have paws. And they teach us how to love again." The audience stood in silence, some smiling, some wiping tears. Dedicated to every child who found hope in the eyes of a loyal friend. Ethan was no longer the frightened boy hiding from the world. He was now a young man, calm and confident, running the Healing Paws Foundation full-time. Hundreds of children and retired service dogs had found new lives through his program. But no matter how much success he achieved, Ethan still visited Rex's grave every Sunday. He'd sit in silence and whisper, "I'm keeping your promise, old boy." One rainy afternoon, Sarah arrived at the center with a quiet 10-year-old boy named Noah. He reminded Ethan of himself, silent, withdrawn, eyes full of fear. Noah had lost his mother in an accident and hadn't spoken since. Ethan knelt and smiled gently. "You don't have to talk right now," he said softly. "But there's someone I want you to meet." He took Noah to the training yard where a young German shepherd named Vela waited. Rex's last trainee, now fully grown and loyal. Noah hesitated at first, but Vela wagged his tail and leaned forward, pressing his head against the boy's arm. For the first time in months, Noah smiled. Ethan watched silently, a tear escaping his eye. It was happening again, the same magic that once saved him. Over the next few months, Noah and Vela became inseparable. Ethan trained them together, simple commands, trust exercises, long walks in the park. But one day during a session, Vela suddenly froze, sniffing the air nervously. Moments later, a loud explosion echoed from a nearby gas station. People screamed and ran. Without hesitation, Vela bolted toward the noise. Noah called after him but stumbled. Ethan grabbed Noah's hand, and they ran together. When they reached the scene, they saw a car on fire, a man trapped inside. Vela barked loudly, circling the car. Ethan rushed forward, using a crowbar to open the door. Vela helped pull the man's jacket and guided him out before the flames grew. The rescue was recorded by bystanders. Within hours, the story went viral. A boy, a dog, and a hero's legacy. Days later, reporters filled the foundation yard. But when asked how he trained Vela so well, Ethan simply said, "I didn't teach him to be a hero. Rex did. He left a piece of himself in every heart he touched." That night, Noah finally spoke for the first time since his mother's death. He whispered to Ethan, "I wasn't brave before, but Vela helped me be." Ethan knelt beside him and said gently, "You were always brave, Noah. You just needed someone to remind you." A few weeks later, Ethan stood again at Rex's grave, Vela lying quietly beside him. He placed a new plaque that read, "Rex, the dog who taught the world to heal." Ethan smiled softly, eyes full of gratitude. He looked toward the horizon. Children playing with their service dogs in the distance, laughter filling the air. "Your story isn't over," he whispered. "It lives in every life we save." The camera slowly panned upward, the sun setting behind the field, golden light covering Ethan and Vela as they walked away together.